Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news as United are linked to a shock £50 million bid for Brighton striker Evan Ferguson. We've also got a massive fitness boost on De Ligt, which means he should be starting the game against Fulham on Friday, which would be absolutely huge. Also around the midfield, a big outgoing could lead to a big incoming, and I think we all know who that will be. And we've got the latest transfer news, ins and outs for you as well. Don't forget, on the evening show tonight, we're going to have our yearly Premier League sort of preview show where we're going to talk about what's achievable. But Darren Taylor in the chat straight away says, could this be the best transfer window post Sir Alex? I mean, that sort of caught me out. I mean, look, I'm not gonna. It was only a few days ago we were saying it's going to be bad. Now we're saying it's going to be great. I think we've still got a lot of work to do. If you think about the start of the transfer window, you'd still want Sancho, Casemiro, Maguire, Lindelof, Eriksen out of the door, and they're still here. And McTominay. So 6 players that you'd want out of the door are still here. So how can it be the greatest transfer window ever? We've still got a lot to do, but hopefully that'll work. Costa says, hour late, Bridge. I mean, look, it's Sunday morning. At the end of the day, it's a beautiful day. My son was playing in a match. I went and watched him play. They were kicking off at 9:30. I thought I'll push the show back to 11. You only get one life. I love the channel, but I don't think it's going to cost us anything on a Sunday morning doing the show at 11 o'clock. And I don't regret it. He got man of the match. The team were fantastic. They won 5-2. It was a great game. And if it bothers you that much, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the end of the day. In the future, I might have to change the Sunday time actually, because I really enjoy watching, and it was they're a fantastic little team, and we spend so much time watching Man United, and sometimes they're multi-millionaires who can't do sod all. It's just refreshing to go and watch amateur football where they're just all running around giving everything, and they've not lost that innocence of joy of football, have they? But no, it was fantastic. So apologies for being a bit late, but that was why it was. I hope you're having a great day as well. Jay Rayner, welcome to Members Club, and Tony as well. Let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about Evan Ferguson. Actually, Starboy just says, bought your book, don't read, so bought the audio book and I'm enjoying it. If you want to get the book this Sunday, scan the QR code, links in the description. You can get it on audio and you can get it physically from Amazon. You've got a few copies behind me. I just want to say massive thank you. You just reminded me, today was the day where we find out where we've gone into the charts on the bestsellers list. We're number 2. We've gone in at number 2 on the Sunday Times bestsellers list for non-fiction, because obviously it's not fiction. Number 2, which is unbelievable. I was going to be happy if we'd gone in at 9. I'd have been ecstatic. So to go in at number 2, unbelievable how many people are buying the book and enjoying it. So, if you were holding back on doing it or saving it back, get your copy now. Fantastic. And just another massive, massive achievement for this community, because I never thought I'd write a book, let alone go into the top 10 on the Sunday Times bestsellers list. I mean, not even top 10, top 5, top 3, silver medal. Massive. We only got beat by Kate Middleton, and she's a bloody royal. She's married to the future king. I can't compete with that, so I'll take that. Absolutely fantastic. So thanks everyone who's buying it. You can check it out through the link in the description or scan the QR code. Well worth a read, especially at the start of this exciting season. There's a lot in there. Anyway, let's get in to the show. I want to talk about De Ligt, but let's talk about this Evan Ferguson story. It was a whirlwind of a day yesterday, wasn't it? Absolutely whirlwind of a day, and I loved it. And thanks for all the love in the chat. Love back. Traders just gifted 10 memberships. We've got a good... We're defying Toxic Sunday here. I'm loving it. Wholesome football, amateur football. Get up, watch that, watch your son play. They did really well. Come here into a wholesome chat. Number 2 in the booksellers list. We've got Sunday night show where we're going to be looking forward to the season. This is what Sunday should be all about. The sun is shining, positivity. Love it, love it. Just to sprinkle a bit of reality onto that positivity though, some people mentioned this last night about how Man United are going to bid £50 million for Evan Ferguson. This is Sunday morning. Anybody who's watched the United Stand knows that it's sort of the one morning show of the week where we do delve into the bollocks a little bit, because we will always, we're here to talk about the news, but Sunday morning in the UK used to get the news of the world, the Sunday People, all that lot. And, the front page would be a load of bollocks about Michael Jackson. Not none of the allegations. It'd be just all about plastic surgery and stuff. Second page would be, it's just a cartoon basically. And you'd get stuff on the back page like United are going to buy Arsenal and put them out of business and stuff like that. So I purposely put this story in because, one, it's coming from the Daily Star, and it's been picked up by a lot of other outlets. But the source of the story, I believe, is the Daily Star. So we can just sort of file that straight away. Evan Ferguson wouldn't be coming to Manchester United for £50 million anyway. That wouldn't happen. Brighton aren't stupid, and they will not sell a 19-year-old who's had a bit of an off season for half price of what they would want. They will not sell Evan Ferguson for £50 million because they will want him to have a good season this year. And all he needs to do is have a good season this year and his price will be back up to 70, 80, 90 again. So they're just not going to sell him. I would absolutely love Evan Ferguson to sign for Manchester United. I mean, it's a long time since we've had an Irish player play for us. And also, I think that he would be perfect alongside Rasmus as the younger striker to work with him. But we're just not going to get that deal done. We won't get that deal done, I'm afraid. So, yeah, as much as it's there, I've got to call bollocks on this unless somebody's going to say something completely different. I think it's a load of bollocks. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very, very interesting story. But I think so is Spot the Dog. It's not real. So is the Titanic. Oh, that was real. Star Wars. It's an interesting story, but it's not true. I'm probably upset a load of Star Wars fans there. Mark, you also said that we wouldn't sign De Ligt, says Avram. Don't remember that. You're not bringing the mood down. Alexander says, first super chat, but huge congratulations to your son, says Alexander. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Amir says, Mark, get the little one into the academy. Would love to see a future Goldbridge playing for Man United, coached by Rude. I don't know about that, mate. Boys football is very competitive. There's some, you see them out there. Mark, do you go to church, says Wanga? No. And remember, we need a sacrificial lamb, Mark. Let's sell Rashford, says Mario. Oh, I was hoping it would be it's going to be a Rashford free zone. Let's talk about Rashford on the 8 o'clock show. Let's keep the positivity going. Because he ain't going to go anywhere. Wholesome Bridge, says Jay. Tony, welcome to Members Club. And could this be the best transfer window ever? We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. So, yeah, in relation to Evan Ferguson, I'm not going to take the piss and out of your intelligence. I'm going to file this in the Goldbridge bin as a big load of bollocks. Brighton aren't stupid. They're not going to give him £50 million, and I don't rate the source. I think this is just what we, if there's one thing I will say about this summer transfer window, and I've said it before, is that, Ineos might not get things done quickly, but they don't feed us shit. And what I mean by that is we knew we wanted Branthwaite, we knew we wanted Yoro, we knew we wanted De Ligt, we knew we wanted Mazraoui, we know we wanted Garte. We know who we're going for, which stops these sort of stories happening like Ferguson or De Jong or anything like that, because we sort of know what we're looking for. It might take time, but we know what we're looking for. Whereas in previous years, we would just get linked to loads and loads of players. Have you forgotten that Evans is Irish, says Sam Davis? No, I just understand Ireland because I lived there for 3 years. I'll give you a bit of a lesson, Sam. Johnny Evans is Northern Irish, which is Northern Ireland and Great Britain, as we've seen in the Olympics. And Roy Keane and Evan Ferguson and Dennis Irwin are Irish. There's a difference. You need to know your politics, mate. It's not even politics, it's nationality. There's a difference between Republic of Ireland or Ireland and Northern Ireland. So therefore, Johnny Evans is from Northern Ireland and Evan Ferguson is from Ireland. So that's what I'm saying. We haven't had an Irish player that's Ireland or Republic of Ireland or whatever you want to call it since probably John O'Shea and Roy Keane that I can recall. And we always have had that. So it'd be nice to have someone like Evan Ferguson, but it's not going to be Evan Ferguson. All the great United side have had an Irish player. Are the Irish our missing cornerstone, says Garkle? And should we not be targeting a more experienced forward instead of another young, somewhat inexperienced striker like Højlund, says Phil? I don't know about that. I don't know about that in relation to whether we need another striker. I still think there's a conversation to be had about Xerxes, but we don't really have any information about why he didn't play yesterday, but it seemed a little bit weird. But Sheeran wants Rashford out the door. Sam Davis, thank you very much. So yeah, look, Ferguson, let's file that. Let's talk about De Ligt. There's a few things I want to talk about here. First and foremost, really positive. I think he might start against Fulham. He's having his medical tomorrow and will be unveiled tomorrow. They expect him to train on Tuesday. So he's got 2 or 3 training sessions before Fulham on Friday night. Now, Ten Hag could go one of 2 ways here. He could do what he's done with Xerxes and other new signings in the past, like Casemiro, where they're ready to play, but he won't put them in because of the laptop or because he wants to be loyal to whoever the centre-back is. I mean, we bought Casemiro and we played McTominay for a couple of games. So, you know, he doesn't always throw a new signing in. Or he could do what I believe he did with, maybe it was Eriksen or Martinez, where they hardly had any training. Anthony did it with. I think Anthony hardly had any training sessions and went straight into the starting lineup. So I think it was Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, because he scored 3 in his first 3 games, didn't he? And I'm pretty sure he put Anthony straight into the team after 2 or 3 training sessions. So it's going to go one or 2 ways. Personally, I think you throw him in. He's not match fit. He has had a pre-season as much as Bruno's had a pre-season and as much as anybody else. I think he can go straight in. And I think that's a massive I think it's a really good idea to do it, because if you don't start him against Fulham in a home game with the security of Old Trafford and an excited crowd that will have his back, you're throwing him in against Brighton or Liverpool. Well, Brighton's away and Liverpool at home is massive. So I just think it makes total sense to start him against Fulham. And I think that would be really exciting, because I think one of the big problems we had last week was that the way the week was going, no signings on Friday, it's like, fucking hell, we're going to play Fulham with basically the centre-backs that we've got. Whereas I think De Ligt has a real opportunity of starting now against Fulham, which would be absolutely massive. So what are your thoughts on that? Would you start him against Fulham? Let's have a poll on that. I also want to say as well, you know, I think we left it a little bit late with De Ligt. You know, I think we could have done it a week ago, but there is just, we should never swerve away from these sort of things, because as a community we're very critical and we're very positive when there's positive things. But obviously with United there's been a lot of stuff to be critical about, so there's more negativity than positivity. Bayern Munich, as I understand it, wanted 50 million euros plus add-ons. The deal we've done with Bayern Munich maxes out at 50 million euros. So we've actually done a deal that will top out at 42 million pounds, whereas Bayern Munich wanted a deal that was 42 million pounds plus add-ons. So we've done a deal there that I personally think 42 million pounds plus add-ons was okay. To get it down a little bit, I think they've done a good job there. Have they dragged it on a little bit too much? Well, if he plays against Fulham, they've timed it perfect, haven't they? If he doesn't play against Fulham, was it worth the £5 million? We'll find out after Fulham. But in fairness, they might have got this about right, because they've got the price slightly cheaper. The overall package will be 42 million, including add-ons. And if he plays against Fulham, happy days. So I think we just need to acknowledge the fact that we didn't actually pay what Bayern Munich wanted. And, you know, I'm not going to knock that. You know, we all know under a Glazer regime with Arnold or Woodward, we'd be paying £60 million. So, you know, that's something that I think is worth acknowledging. Throw in, send a message to Maguire and Lindelof, says Chris. I realise Mark dismisses something when he really wants it, and sometimes it's worked in our favour and we sign them. Says AMT. I don't know what that means. Liam says, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka the start of the domino effect, allowing us to buy De Ligt, which might force Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof out, which could allow us to buy a midfielder, which could then force out some midfielders, says Liam. And if the powers that be can bring in Ferguson, then objectively, would United have the best young striker in world football, says JE. And the way our defence was yesterday, I think De Ligt would be a delight, says Anchor. Anthony played against Arsenal, yes, says Trey. and Keanu Matomo. I don't know what you're on about. Thanks very much. A few people just putting coded messages in. Just tell us what you're talking about. Yeah, I think with regards to the domino effect, I'm going to talk about the midfield in a minute, because I think there is a player that's going to leave Manchester United, and I think his name's Scott McTominay. I can't believe I'm saying that on a Sunday morning. I've definitely not had a drink. It's just a I don't want to say it because I don't believe it till I hold the shirt up, until he holds the shirt up of Fulham or whatever. But I genuinely think he's going to go. I just keep getting told stuff from credible people that McTominay will go. He wants to play first team football. All that needs to happen is a deal that Man United accept and he will go. So it's close. It's closer than close. It's so close you can almost touch it. And I think logically for McTominay, there's a very good reason why he would want to go as well. But taking it back to the domino effect of Wan-Bissaka really was the domino to get Mazraoui, and we wanted to do a double deal, so it allowed De Ligt to happen. We have got to get centre-backs out. As I said last night, I think the only reason that the centre-backs will go is because of what we've done with our purchases around the centre-backs. And what I mean by that is that we can't get rid of Lindelof or Maguire with 1 year left on their contracts when they're on 190 grand a week and 120 grand a week. You can't do it. But what you can do is you can, sort of show them the door. They've got to walk out of it. It's like leading a horse to water. They've got to drink the water. And what I mean by that is, if I'm Victor Lindelof, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I'm 29, 30, whatever. I'm on 120 grand a week. I've got 1 year left on my deal. I can sit at United, earn that money and not play for a year. And at that age, you don't know how many years you've got left. I'm not saying he's going to die. I mean, in football. So you don't know how long you've got left in your career. Now, I can't live in his head and neither can you. I would do anything to have played any football at the highest level, and I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, maybe Victor Lindelof sits there and goes, I don't really care. I'm going to sit here for 120k and not play. But you look at it and you go, well, 120k a week's great. I've already earned loads of money anyway. I want to play football for the little time I've got left. Yeah, I will take a bit of a pay cut to go because I want to play football. And some people might think like that, because if he's staying at Man United, you look at it and you go, well, Martinez is ahead of me. De Ligt's ahead of me. Yoro's not going to be injured forever, and he's ahead of me. So that's 3 centre-backs ahead of me straight away. Johnny Evans is still here. I would think I'm ahead of Johnny Evans, but I don't necessarily know I am. And Maguire's still here. And he earns more than me, and it's a flip of a coin whether he's better than me or not, but he's better in the air than me. So I'm 5th choice centre-back. I'm sat on my arse unless there's an injury crisis. And that's what Victor Lindelof faces this year. He's sat on his arse unless there's a massive injury crisis. So I think United are showing him the door. He's got to choose whether he wants to walk through that door or sit back, not play, and earn 120k a week. And I suppose it's the same for Harry Maguire as well. In some ways, I think Maguire's is worse because he's on 190k a week, which is a lot more money. Never going to get that anywhere else. But he also had a horrible end to his England career, whereby he would have played in the Euros. He would have played in a Euros final. He got injured. Southgate would have picked Maguire, 100%. Forget Guehi, Maguire would have played. So he was England's starting centre-back. His career ended because of an injury. He won't want that to be the end of his England career. But then he sat there going, look, Harry Maguire's mentality is strong enough to go, I don't care that they've bought Yoro and De Ligt, I'm starting for Man United. Some would say that's a very stubborn mentality. Some would say something more severe. But he might look at it like that and go, well, I'm going to fight for my place. But the problem with that is, he's really jeopardising his England place, because even if he starts against Fulham, the minute De Ligt's fit, he's out the team. And then when Yoro's back, he's 4th choice. So you can't get this. There's 3 England internationals coming up, dates between September, October, November, and there's a new England coach. Do you want to risk not being in those squads with a new England coach because you've messed up your United career? So that's the problems that Maguire and Lindelof face. The door's there. They've got to walk through it. I don't think Ineos can do any more. Can't force them out of it. They've got to look at their situation and go, do I risk my international career and my career this late on, sitting on my arse earning money, or do I go, ambition, I want to play. I've earned a lot of money already. I just want to play football in the last few years of my career and try and still play international football. And that's the choice, isn't it? You know, we can all dance around it, but it's stay at United, earn your money, and probably not play, or it's leave, play, and try and still play for England and Sweden and everything like that. That's the choice they've got. I can't complain at Ineos for that. It's really difficult to sell players, but what we've done really well is close the door off. We've started previous seasons where Lindelof and Maguire might be the starting centre-backs. They're not now. So I don't think Ineos can do any more. You know, they've probably told them that they'd like to sell them, and the players have probably said, oh, you know, I want to fight for my place. You buy a couple of centre-backs, and then you say, look, we're still looking to sell you. And if they say, oh, I'm going to fight for my place, you go, well, that's fine, but look at what we've bought. I think we've done the right thing. Mark, can we not sell Maguire and use the fee to cover some of his wages? He's only got 1 year left. And look, Sabre, I think if somebody came in and offered £15 million for Harry Maguire, we'd take it, as long as we were saying to that club, he's worth 25, but we're selling you for 15 to cover the wages off. I think we would do that, but I don't know whether it'll happen. Harry says it was only a pre-season game, but Casemiro played well. More quotes from Ten Hag about Casemiro. We'll talk about that. Cayman, you will never catch me out. I'm not Kev. Still need a 6 if budget is done. Maybe sign Amrabat. Emily Derry says, if we're signing anyone from Brighton, I'd rather it was Matoma. Our problem is creating for the striker and not the actual striker, says Emily Derry. No United attacks so far this window, setting the standard, says Ben. And if Shaw's not ready, Mazraoui at left back against Fulham, says Ross. Could happen. Up the Irish, says the Hughes lad. And I watched back the Champions League games with De Ligt for Bayern, says King Mo. Vinicius had no joy. He was practically covering for Kimmich at right back, coming inside to provide cover. Excited for this deal. AMT's gifted, Andy Weatherall's gifted a membership there. Thank you very much, Andy. I just want to say, so this wasn't on my schedule. I want to talk about the midfield. I also want to talk about some of the ex-player comments about De Ligt, because I think, as you know, at the end of the day, these ex-players are influencers. They are. I mean, God, I saw one of them the other day. He's doing what I'm doing on That's Football. He's doing faces like this. He used to be a Man United centre-back and a legend, and he's like this. I'm like, bloody hell. Well, if you want to be an influencer, that's fine, but you'll get what I get. You're going to get a bit of kickback, so it's coming. Get ready. But first of all, before I say that, I want to say this about Luke Shaw. I like Luke Shaw. He's never leaked me the team. There's no relationship at all with Luke Shaw, despite what people have said in the past. There isn't. I like him. I think he's one of the best left backs in the world when he's fit. But I was sat there last night, kicking back after a great day, with a drink, thinking about United like I do. And I thought, there's a line here that nobody's picked up on. And maybe it's been said on social media, but I've not heard it. Luke Shaw, not fit for Man United since February. Goes on to a major tournament with England, not fit for a month. Gets fit for the final game and a half, semi-final and final. Never should have gone. Comes back to the start of this season with Man United and he's not fit. There's been a bit of scrutiny of it, but not in the media. It's basically fans who say, it's not on, I'm not happy about it. But nothing in the media. And I thought, you know what? We've said this on this channel for many years, and we see it all the time. There is a bias between English players and foreign players. And there's a bias between English everything and foreign everything, whether it's managers or what. Don't ever tell me if Paul Pogba had been injured as a Man United player from February till the summer, gone to the French national team and been injured for a month, but played in the semi-final and the final, and then came back for pre-season and wasn't ready for the Community Shield. Don't tell me our British media wouldn't have call-ins, back pages and everything. That's all I'm saying about it. Because actually, even as a fan of Luke Shaw, and I hope he plays against Fulham because I think he's one of the best left backs, there is an argument there to be said that we know what would happen if that was Pogba. We know what would happen if that was Martial. And there's just very little reaction to it in our media because it's an English player, isn't it? And he has got to be fit for Fulham. He has got to be fit for Fulham. He is such an important player for us. I personally said that I agreed with him going to the Euros because I'm English and he's our best left back. But he's got to get fit for the start of this season. Has to. If we get no CDM once everyone's healthy, do we have Yoro and De Ligt start at centre-back and Martinez at CDM, says Ivan. We're not going to go down that route today, Ivan, because we're having a positive show. But if I ever hear another comment about Wan-Bissaka at centre-back or Martinez as CDM, listen to what Ten Hag said. He doesn't want to play him as a CDM. So no, that won't happen. It could have happened countless times in the last 2 years, and it's not happened once. It will not happen. We need to buy a holding midfielder. What's your opinion on Everton possibly getting points deduction again, says Grimlock? Well, you know, you ban Goldbridge from Goodison Park, you get, you know, chat shit, get banged. No, I don't know. Have you got your yellow tie ready for transfer deadline day to show Sky how it's done? I think there could be last minute deals, says Glenn C. And it was only I've done that one. Okay, so before we talk about the midfield situation, remember we bought De Ligt. He's having his medical tomorrow. I mentioned it about Scholesy the other day. He was a bit concerned about the De Ligt deal, saying that, you know, he'd failed at Juventus, he'd failed at Bayern, and he was concerned about it. I said at the time, he's got his facts wrong there because ultimately, I don't think many pundits, especially ex-players, really watch football outside the Premier League. I don't think they watch football in the Premier League that much either. I think they're busier doing other things because, you know, they're set for life, and why should they spend their life absorbing football all the time? They've probably got better things to do. I think with regards to what's been said about De Ligt, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think it's going to be a massive problem, but I heard Ferdinand was on about it yesterday as well, throwing a bit of negativity at the De Ligt deal, going, you know, I'm not so sure. He's, you know, I hope he's going to do well. It's a great opportunity, but he sort of fell off a little bit. And I'm like, come on. Are we going to keep playing that game? Like, you have a responsibility as much as the fans have a responsibility. I never wanted Matic, I never wanted Fellaini, and I never wanted Lukaku. But once they hold the shirt up, you've got to get behind the new side. I don't want Sander Berge. But if he holds the shirt up, I'll have to just say, I don't want this deal, but I'll get behind him. And I just feel that there is a little bit of negativity among the ex-player community about De Ligt. And I don't like it when people come out and you know, beat about the bush. If you don't like the signing, say it and have the balls, because that's what being an influencer is all about. That's what being a pundit's all about. You can't go, I'm not so sure about this deal, but I hope it works out. Tell us what the problem is. Why don't you like the player? Because it's all right going, Lenny, I was on the phone to Lenny Yoro, and then, you know, you buy De Ligt. Is it because you're worried about Yoro's place? What is it about De Ligt that you don't like? And why aren't you there doing clips about De Ligt? Does he not follow you on Instagram or something? I don't get what the problem is with De Ligt. There is one problem that will stop De Ligt being successful at Man United. I've seen enough of him over the years, and more importantly, I've seen enough of Man United's defence over the last few years. Ain't no way, if he stays fit, we're not going to be a better team. No way at all. It's absolutely nailed on that he will be a decent player at Manchester United. Absolutely. Because we've got players that... exclusive breaking news coming in here. Manchester United have reached an agreement with Bruno Fernandes to extend his contract. New deal will be valid until June 2027, plus option for further season. Salary at top level, all set to be signed before end of summer window. Wow, I tell you what, that's going to set a cat amongst the pigeons, isn't it? Now then, what are your thoughts about this? Salary at the top level. What's his salary then? What's his salary? Because Rashford's on 350k a week and Casemiro's on 350k a week. Surely Ineos haven't gone and handed out a 350k a week wage. Or should they have done it? I mean, I said, if you're Bruno Fernandes, you're available every single game, You're the captain of the club. You've got every right to say, hold on a minute. Mason Mount's on more money than me, doesn't even play. Casemiro's on more money than me, and I'm better than him. And Rashford's on more money than me, and I don't play much either. So, it's... On the one hand, I think he deserves it. And on the other hand, I'm like, well, Ineos have just broken their promise straight away and broken their own wage bill. So I wonder what that price is going to be, and I wonder what the reaction will be. I think our top earner should be Bruno Fernandes. I do. That's just my personal opinion. I think Bruno Fernandes should be our top earner, but you know, it'd be interesting if Ineos have broken their wage promise straight away. I know for facts that Shaw had the pins removed from his leg, and this has caused more problems than playing with him. Sorry, wait a minute, Chris John. I can't see this what it is because I've just skipped an ad. Mark, I know for a fact that Shaw had the pins removed from his leg, and this has caused more problems than playing with him. 25 games max, says Chris. So, yeah, I mean, I think with Luke Shaw, he's not going to play 60 games. I think I'm going to buy Kate Middleton's book, Going for Gold, says Kazim. Hopefully, McTominay is closer than you can imagine, so let's get closest to getting him out the door. Sean Turner says, how did De Ligt fail at Juventus? He got a better move to bigger club. He hasn't been great at Bayern, but he might not suit the German league. He's better than Maguire, Lindelof, Evans, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, look, just to all the doubters about De Ligt, you've got to make statements, otherwise you're a coward anyway. I will say this about De Ligt. Everybody who's got a doubt about De Ligt and his ability, whether it's ex-players, current fans, pundits, whatever, personally, I think it's because he's Dutch. I think there is still an underlying cowardice amongst pundits, ex-players and the media to actually just say they don't like Ten Hag. So I think they try and find other ways. De Ligt, categorically, in my opinion, will make Man United a better team, because he is a good centre-back who is used to playing out from the back, is aggressive and plays a high line. So straight away, if you know football, whether you're an ex-player or not, if you know football and you watch Man United like we do, I know for the last 4 years, we've had centre-backs who are slow and like to play on the edge of the back and don't like to play out from the back. So if we buy a centre-back that likes to play out from the back and likes to play on the halfway line, we will be a better team because Martinez already does it. So De Ligt will be transformative to Manchester United. How transformative, I don't know, but we will be a lot better with De Ligt and Martinez than we will be with Lindelof or Maguire. So there will be a massive improvement with De Ligt in the team, and we've also got Yoro as well. So he's going to be a major success as far as I'm concerned. The only relevant conversation is fitness. That's the only pin in the balloon here. Can he stay fit? Because there are question marks about some of his injuries. Now, I looked at his injuries a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of them, they're not really repetitive. You know, I think he had a shoulder injury. You know, I don't think there's necessarily a problem, but that's what the medical team are there for. But the only thing, in my opinion, that will stop De Ligt being a success at Man United is if over the next 4 years, he's injured a lot. That's the only thing I'd be concerned about. And that's something the club will have to take responsibility for. But also, I would send a message to Rio and Scholesy and any United fan that's worried about De Ligt and all the media that will blame it on Ten Hag. Let's have a real conversation here. If De Ligt fails and, you know, certain journalists want to say, oh, it's all on the manager and his Dutch obsession, you don't understand the football club you write about, you prats. Manchester United has got a structure which involves Jason Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, Barada. We saw them all, Sir David Brailsford. We saw them all yesterday. Those people came to Ten Hag and said, we think De Ligt is the value improver for Man United this summer. We think De Ligt is the centre-back we should be going for. Ten Hag probably thought it was Christmas Day and went, yes, yes, yes. But let's not try and twist this nonsense again that we bought a Dutch centre-back because Ten Hag's walked in and gone, get me that. I don't want to listen about anything else. This factually came in from Ineos recommendations and the structure that they brought together. So I'm very confident in the deal. Very, very confident. And as Hoppy says, he's also 24. Player of the Year in his first year, Dumb Pundit, says V33. And with Ashworth, etc., and also Bayern in London yesterday, do you think it's coincident we agreed a deal yesterday when they were all in London, says Luke? Yeah, of course they were playing Spurs, weren't they? So, yeah. Robert McCormack says Bruno held us to ransom and got away with it. Sam says Cookbridge, thank you very much. Appreciate that as well. So there we go. He turns 25 tomorrow, De Ligt. I still think that's I don't think that's an issue, 25. I mean, ultimately, if De Ligt works, we'll get 5 years of his prime football. 5 years is a long time in football if it works out. I mean, yeah, and he's a leader. I'm very excited about De Ligt. Very, very excited about De Ligt, and I really, really hope it's going to work out. 90% of you would start him against Fulham. I completely agree on that as well. We're going to... I'll probably do a quick video on Bruno's contract, actually. Watch out for that. I'm going to go and find out what his wage is before I react to it properly, but I'll probably do a quick video on Bruno as well. Because I think the wage thing's the only... I'm really happy he's signing a new contract. Always said he wouldn't be going anywhere, same as Rashford. But, are Ineos right to give him 300k a week? Yes, because he's the best player and he's the captain. But you are breaking your wage structure to do that, aren't you? So it'd be interesting to see what that wage is. Because the problem you've got is you want to make Bruno Fernandes your top earner, but unfortunately you've got Casemiro and Rashford on ridiculous wages. So do you give Bruno that? So it'd be very interesting to see what he actually is being given, because it sort of contradicts what Ineos have said they want to do around wages. And you set that bar that high. So be interesting if it's like bonus led, stuff like that. You could probably get around with it. You could probably give him 250k a week and then say with bonuses it goes up to a lot more than that, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Rules are there to be broken. Look, if you're going to break it, Bruno's the guy who deserves it. I completely agree. What a fantastic show this morning. I'm loving the positive vibes. 23,500 people tuning in as well, which is just incredible. What a community. Don't forget tonight's show, by the way. We're going to be previewing the season, where we think our expectations should be, what we think is realistic, etc. Looking forward to doing that. Obviously, we'll have all the topical news as well, but I want to bring it in on the Sunday night show because we start the season on Friday. Absolutely brilliant. De Ligt is the youngest captain in the Champions League knockout game. He led Ajax as captain and knocked out Real Madrid. Why are people doubting his ability? I don't know, but it's not just, it's bloody ex-players doing it as well. I just don't get it. Get rid of Casemiro and Sancho and Bruno's salary will be fine, says the Hughes lad. And what's important is the medical team do their job in the medicals for both De Ligt and Mazraoui, says River Manu. Yeah, watch out. I'll probably do a quick video on Bruno just to give him that kudos. Probably just do a quick 5-10 minute preview, pre-recorded bit. But legends this morning, thanks for tuning in. Apologies it wasn't at 10, but I obviously explained that, and it worked at 11. It worked really well. Also, the book. Thank you so much. In at number 2 on the bestsellers list in the Sunday Times this week. Absolutely correct. Amazing. I never thought we'd achieve that. That's great feedback. If you've not bought it yet, scan the QR code or go through the link in the description, or you can get it on audio through Amazon as well. Love that. I think it's a good book anyway. A lot of you've said it is, but appreciate it so much. And if you want to support it, that's great. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you all in a bit.